I mean, you saw what kind of movies he made. He was a fucked up dude.
That's true. He was. Like, as a kid, as a teenager and a kid, I really loved those movies. But watching it back as an adult, I'm like, these are teenagers. Why is he, like, so fixated on, like,
fucking
sex?
This girl.
Right, yeah.
I was fixated on sex, but I guess I would never have acted towards a girl the way Anthony Michael Hall does in that movie.
Well, I meant John Hughes, not
Anthony
gotcha. Michael Hall. Because he was a grown man. And, you know, like, these actors were all teenagers. And, like, he spends, like, in Pretty in Pink, for instance, he spends a lot of time in the intro, like, watching Molly Ringwald get dressed. Like, and I'm like, oh, she's, like, not only is she, like, age inappropriate to do this in the first place in the real world, but the character is also age inappropriate to be showing this. But you look back in the 80s and 90s and go, damn, we made some strides.
Well, I don't know. I mean, you watch any CW drama and all of those characters are fucking each other. Like,
yes, Riverdale.
Yeah, exactly.
Those are teenagers. That's fair. You know what? That's fair.
Yeah. I think that, honestly, like, I don't think John Hughes directed Pretty in Pink, did he? I know he wrote it. Maybe he did direct it. Yeah.
I think his later stuff, he would write more of it and not, like, Career Opportunities. That's a John Hughes written movie.
I liked that movie.
I loved Career Opportunities. I was always like, yeah, man, I would love to get locked in a Target. It looks fun as hell.
Yeah, Howard Dutch directed that one.
Okay.
Pretty in Pink. So in
Howard
that case,
Dutch,
unless John Hughes
explicitly wrote
a 3-page scene
close up on Molly Ringwald's leg.
Yeah.
Wow. He went like, so good for Howard for being like, I think we're going to cut that one. So you really
like John Hughes is like, you still gonna make it sexy, right?
And he's like, okay, calm down, Isildur. Give that ring to Gollum. You're
been
right
a dick.
That's what happened to him. He held on to the fucking ring, and he lived a long time. Right, and then, like, when he got older, he, like, took himself out of the Hollywood scene and stopped writing movies and stuff and was like, no, and, like, just, like, brooded over the ring.
That's why he stopped, because he couldn't stop playing with the ring.
And he couldn't stop trying to, like, look at people's vaginas. Like, in the context of a movie, not, like, just...
Okay, I was going to say, like, there are... Did he know about the internet? You can see as many vaginas as you want and not hurt anyone.
Even in the 90s, the late 90s, it was possible to do that, you know, like...
It's true. I mean, it might take you 20 minutes to download the picture.
Sure.
But if you're John Hughes, you've probably got money for at least a 24K modem.
Yeah, I'd say probably 56K when we were still rocking a 14.4. And this is like, if my kids ever listen to this, they're going to be like, what the fuck is a modem? What is 14.4? What is 56K? 56K was the fucking future. That's what it was.
We were so excited. When you would tell me about, like, a megabyte a second, I was like, bullshit.
You're fucking with me.
No way it ever gets that fast. Now back to downloading this picture of Terry Hatcher wrapped in Superman's cape. Right. 45 minutes left to go.
It's going to be so worth it. That was the internet in the 90s. The internet in the 90s seemed like both a more, like, crazy place, or the potential to be crazy, but also a much safer place, because like it wasn't as vast, right? Like, I'm sure the dark web was still I don't know if it was obviously as big as it was now, but, like,
I'm sure it was. Well, actually, go ahead. Sorry.
No. I don't have any historical insight to add to the dark
I'm trying
web.
to remember where I read this, but I think there's either, like, and you can look this up. I forget if it's a deep dive piece on, you know, like, Salon, or maybe it was a book or documentary, but basically it's about how the white supremacist movement invested in computers early and started recruiting that way. And, like, they have a guidebook for how to do it, you know, in terms of, you wait till these kids trust you, then you you start making a couple remarks. If they react poorly, you kind of back off, but then like you just kind of keep doing it, and basically about how white supremacists got in on the ground floor with the internet, and that is kind of how we end up with the alt-right and the incels and all that.
Yeah, I mean that's like textbook alt-right behavior, I think, right now. Like, I'm pretty sure that, like, I read a piece from a lady who was like, my son like got like dragged into the alt-right online. He was like, he was making memes is what happened. He was making memes and people were liking him on like 4chan and shit. And then like, the alt-right people would be like, hey man, like they DM him and shit and be like, oh, that was a really cool meme. And then like exactly what you're saying, like little by little, they like start pushing the envelope and then like they start praising him for his memes. He starts making like racist memes and like, memes like that. And then it's like kind of empowering. And for a 15-year-old kid, like especially one that might be like not have a lot of friends or like not, be real world popular, it's probably very empowering. And so I can understand why it happens. Luckily that kid got out of it. His mom and him had a bunch of conversations, and she said they were like, she said he was a smart kid, so he would have I don't want to say informed, but he'd have well thought out, well reasoned
arguments.
Right. And so she was like, well, I mean, this is what I want, but like, ugh, like I'm disgusted by what he's saying, and like very misogynist and very racist and like, that sort of classist. But luckily, I guess he eventually kind of saw it for what it was and was like, ugh, what have I done?
So John Hughes, man.
Yeah, it's John Hughes, the original alt-right white supremacist.
No, well, it's funny, like.
Where are the black people in that movie, or in those movies?
I mean, it was Shermer, Illinois in the 80s.
It was a suburb of Chicago. You're telling me none?
Fair enough. It was a rich, affluent, white suburb.
But it wasn't, because what's her name in 16 Candles was poor.
Who's poor? Not Molly Ringwald. They had a great big house.
Not in 16 Candles. In Pretty in Pink, she was poor.
Well,
her dad didn't even have a job, man.
I thought he ran a pool business.
No, that was, I think She's All That.
Oh.
that was the 90s remake. That was the 90s version of...
Oh, isn't Harry Dean Stanton her dad in that movie?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. I you're right. I got it mixed up with the 1990s remake for which John Hughes should have received royalties.
And he probably was pissed about that, except he wasn't pissed because he was so, into his own shit by that point.
Yeah, by then it was all about the ring.
It was all about the ring and all about those close-up pussy shots.
He actually funded a magazine, like shadow funded, like through some money laundering, a magazine called Close Up Pussy Shots Monthly.
It only lasted for 2 months.
But, he
took that to his grave too.
Yeah, the entire overstock went with him into the volcano. Warehouse full of unbought Close-Up Pussy Shots issue 2.
Yeah.
Like issue 1, they printed about 100 and they sold them all. And he's like,
and so they were like, fuck it, jack it up,
they printed a million copies of issue 2.
Yeah. So that was on him, really.
Yeah. He had the same sort of business acumen that the comics creators or comics companies in the early 90s had, which is to say none at all.
Yes. All the Supermen. So I think this might be a good time to pay some bills. I got a sponsor for us. Paid us in euros.
Nice.
Which is good for us. I think the exchange rate is good. I actually don't know what the exchange rate is. Should I look it up before we do this?
I won't be able to think straight until I know.
I can't do the ad in good conscience till I know if we're getting a good deal on this. Euros to dollars. €1 is $1.18, so we're doing good.
Fuck here. Yeah, we're sitting pretty. We got almost $20.
All right, so it is. Everyone knows about subscription services, right? Subscription boxes, stuff like that. Well, this is a new company. It is a subscription service. It's called Suck for You. and you get a new sock every month. So sometimes,
Just one?
yes, just one. They're cool socks, but like sometimes the next month you'll get the second one. Sometimes you don't. Like,
Okay.
the designs are, they're cool, but like you kind of
So
wish
it's like
you want more.
MeUndies, but now if I wanted to, could I up my subscription package to get to the whole pair?
You can up the subscription, but you don't necessarily get the pair.
You get 2 socks.
Right. There is a discount, though. There is a discount there's a bulk discount, but there's no guarantee that you're gonna get.
This is bullshit.
Well, that's why they're advertising on our podcast.
I'm paying in euros.
Right.
Where's this company based?
I believe Belarus.
Do they have local distribution centers, or do they send everything from Belarus?
Everything's from Belarus, so it's really, the shipping time is outrageous. You'll get a Christmas sock sometimes in like February.
Seasonal.
Yeah.
They also they pay absolute lowest rates for shipping.
Mm-hmm. So it takes forever to get there, and plus the backlog with our own U.S. Postal Service makes it even longer at this point. But yeah, that's basically it.
Sock for you, sock for me.
Sockforyou.biz is the website if you want to check it out.
Do they do cock socks?
I
know every sock is a cock sock if you work at it, but
sure. But for like the smaller stature dudes, definitely they have a smaller scale, and that actually works perfectly. But the business model works very perfectly for that. And actually, I think that's where they're making most of their money, to be honest.
Is in cock socks?
Yeah, like people who use the sock as cock socks.
Yeah.
Now, because what are you going to do with one sock?
Right. That's where my head went. Right? I mean, it's like I've only got one sock, and I've got one dick. Like, so clearly, hello.
Yeah.
Now, when we say cock sock, are we talking about like you go out in public and this is what you're wearing? Or is this what you wear when you're jerking off so the mess doesn't get everywhere?
I think that it's both.
Oh, yeah, you're right. You wear it out on the town. You come home, you show yourself a good time.
Yeah, it's like a
the
date
dirty
thing.
laundry hammer, and then you're good to go.
Yeah.
Oh, man, sock for you. Guys, wash these socks before you come in them.
And after. Please.
And after, that's an important safety tip. Thank you, Daryl.
Yes. That is something that is a disclaimer that comes with the men's sock. There is a women's version of this, but it's not near as popular, I don't think.
There aren't.
Utility is not there for them.
No. Clit socks.
Yeah, they're just.
It's just a little nub.
Yeah, it's just a little. It's like one of those like thimbles that you paper cut your hand. But it's a cool looking design. It's like a little Christmas tree on it, or like.
Or an Easter bunny. They've got all the holidays. A little Star of David.
Yeah, if you're Jewish.
Yeah, or if you just like Jewish imagery.
Yeah.
If you're having a Miss Maisel themed sex night,
Yeah, you and your hubby or boyfriend or girlfriend, I don't know.
Or girlfriend, yeah, you could both be Mrs.
Or all three, I don't know.
I
don't know. It's 2020, man. Love is love.
Yeah, thruple.
So, yeah, definitely check it out. Sockforyou.biz.
.nz.
Yes, they are. They're huge in New Zealand. Actually, they have I think there's secondary warehouses in New Zealand, and which then feeds into Australia.
Yeah.
Really big in the outback. For some reason,
yes.
I don't know. Just caught on there for some reason.
Well, there's this whole. They have the culture of the 1 foot, right, in Australia and New Zealand. Like it's like we are so used to in our American brains thinking of our feet as a pair, right? Like they come in a pair. Whereas on the, in the Southern Hemisphere, which is where I think Australia is.
It is, yes.
Okay. On the other side of the equator, Daryl, toilets flush backwards.
Yes, they do.
They consider each foot its own separate entity.
Which would make sense why they're so big in New Zealand and Australia.
Exactly. Because they can have different personalities. You know, you might have one that's like,
what's Righty doing?
Yeah, exactly.